Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going, Clemente?
Good, man. Happy Tuesday. Beautiful day out, at least in Seattle, man. I'm excited for today. How are you?
Good. Cowboys won last night. That was fun. Nice little win with the backup quarterback. So I'm feeling good this morning.
And you got Dak coming in apparently next week. So we'll see about that. Things seem to be good in the
soon.
Cowboys. Yeah. So we'll see, man. Look, I have to say, Ray, before we dive in, I mean, I made the title of the show that Opensea's monthly volume is going to decline for the sixth month in a row. We were talking about this earlier. We typically start the shows very bearish, so hopefully this will be a different take, and we'll kind of dive into what might be unfolding. But look, guys, if you're just listening in, welcome into the 10th episode of the WGMI Morning Show, where we bring you everything and anything you need to know about the NFT market in 30 minutes or less. And we use WGMI's various tools and features to bring you this news and some insights. If you like what you see, if you've never heard of WGMI before and you maybe want to try out some of the tools that we have to offer, feel free to DM us the word newsfeed or retweet our Twitter broadcast for a chance to win a 7-day free trial. We are also live on YouTube. The link is posted below. We are also WGMI on YouTube if you just want to go straight there. Feel free to jump in our Discord as well if you have any feedback or you'd like to chat with us there. Some of the broader market stories we're going to cover today is, we'll actually dive into this shortly, is that Opensea is set to post a decline in volume for the 6th month in a row. But we're going to share why we think October could be the month that turns it all around and kind of brings this market slowly back to life. Azuki is continuing to bleed, but why we think the pain might be coming to an end soon. And lastly, chimpers are running. They're up 0.8 now from in the last 7 days. They were at a 0.98 floor. Last time I checked, they were at 1.75 ETH, and they're still running. As always, please retweet this broadcast. Ray, my co-host, how we doing, man? Did you any big takeaways from yesterday?
No, nothing big yesterday. I actually missed the Art Blocks drop. I need to dive in to see how that did. We did have some Art Blocks news we'll talk a bit later about that I'm interested to look at today. But outside of that, kind of was, heads down, doing a lot of work internally for WGMI yesterday. Didn't get a chance to really dive into the happenings. So, had to go to the news feed this morning and, get caught up on everything I missed. So it's a nice feature being able to, if I am too busy for whatever reason, being able to, pop in, get the TLDR of the most important, actionable news over the last day or so and start my morning off feeling in a good place.
One of the things I will say, man, is I don't know if I think it's a good thing. Like I found myself actually leaving a bunch of Discords. I think my time spent on Discord is like on the 3 Discords that I really go on, and everything else like I pretty much stopped checking. As kind of a byproduct of the news feed is like, not having to go through and check all of these red alerts every morning, and now I can just jump on the news feed and then go in the Discord that I really like just to hang out and just because I like the vibes in there. So that's been pretty much like the best part of having this news feed, at least I think.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel the same way. I'm doing a lot more clearing of notifications for ecosystems that we have covered. We're always expanding the ecosystems we're covering. We're making sure we're getting the most actionable news, making sure we're finding, what you need to know as a holder. So we do a great job for what we cover right now, and we're always expanding every day. We're adding more projects to our curated list of projects.
Absolutely. So getting into a very quick market snapshot for the last 24 hours, yesterday's Opensea volume was 9.9 million. This is brought to you by WGMI Newsroom on Twitter. We post updates, we post daily market reports, and we post news straight from the news feed. So if you want to check that out, please do. It's at WGMI Newsroom. NFT collection sorted by 24-hour volume. CryptoPunks leading the way. We had Other Deed coming in with 386 ETH in volume. CloneX having a little bit of a run. Ray, it was literally just, it seems like Artifact, all they had to do was tweet, hold on to your clones, and they flew like 0.5 in a matter of an hour. So that was pretty interesting to see. They did delete that tweet since, though. And I was talking to our WGMI, our Artifact curator last night for a bit, and they've started to delete a few different tweets. There's a couple things they're hinting at. So would be cool to hear what they have going on. Another thing that came up for me was Exolians by Bonish Bill. They're sitting at around a 0.7 floor. They're flying. It's only a 1,000 piece collection. I like the art. We can check that out later if we do have time. Ethereum's running. There's a little bit of a typo there. I wish Ethereum was at $13,000. Just seeing that now. But it did bounce. It was in the low 1300s yesterday, and now it's up in the upper 1300s. We might see a break into the 1400s today. That's what I will be watching for. Moving on to one quick observation I did want to share, a little outside of the usual market snapshot that we have is so Opensea volume. Yeah, it obviously is downtrending, but you look at the last few months, and it's been on a downtrend for the last 6 months. And it's looking like on pace, I mean, compared to last month with 502 million in volume, September's not looking pretty. So we'll be watching to see that. But look, I think October could be the month that we turn it around. Ray, I'm curious your thoughts. Really big things I'm thinking about is thanks to our Azuki curator, Owen, he's sharing that October 14th will be the last installation of the Azuki world that we'll see revealed. So there's going to be some action around that. CloneX announced that they have pretty big plans for October that they want to roll out, which is why they pushed back the some of the activities they had planned over there. And Deadfellas is like, this is not nearly as big of a market mover as the first two, but October is like their month. They call it the Fells month. So we'll see some activity there. And they're up 0.4 ETH in the last 7 days. So definitely something to watch for there. So look, from my point of view, I think October will be the month that we finally see this volume start turning around and maybe making a push towards the other way. I'm not going to say we're going to be going back to January levels, but compared to what we've been seeing in the last 6 months, I think we'll finally start seeing an uptrend again. But I'm curious on your thoughts here, Ray.
Yeah, and that doesn't even include, the ape staking that's coming up, and the volume we'll probably see around apes there, be it,
Right.
floor up or floor down. I'm not sure, but I'm sure we're going to see a ton of volume leading into that staking. So, I mean, the volume could look better in October. I'm not very optimistic right now, but we'll just kind of have to, wait and see. We really need outside catalysts. I know we can talk about these internal catalysts in the Web3 world, but we're basically just trading pennies between each other at this point, and playing musical chairs. So until we get that next influx of buyers coming into the ecosystem, the next wave of people interested in Web3, we're going to continue to see this bleed. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't know if October will be the time, but there's definitely some exciting news and things to capture the current market's attention, at least in the month of October.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'll definitely be something to watch for it, and I'll keep my eye on it. I think my theory is if you talk about it enough and you bring it up enough, it'll happen. So I'm trying to speak it into existence a little bit, to be honest.
Yep. I love your optimism. I just don't have the same outlook. I know we've been a bit bearish coming into these, but even if we are in a bear market, there still is value to be found. There still are trades to be made. So we'll be here every day, delivering you the news, giving you the most up-to-date information to make those decisions to win even in these bear markets.
Absolutely. Ray, I'll let you take it from here. I know we've got some news to cover from the last 24 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump over to the news feed now. We can start looking at what we've seen over the last day or so. We've added some new projects on here. You might see some new names. We're expanding, by the day, which projects we're covering, making sure that we are giving you a broad view of all the news for your portfolio. So starting off, the Lazy Lions have announced their Drop 2. They already sold out the Lazy Series 1 merch collection. They announced that the merch 2 drop will be occurring. I think they said not sure exactly what the date was here. Tomorrow. So tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern for the next drop of the merch. that sold out pretty quickly. If you're a Lions holder and you are interested in gear, I'd recommend being there on time for that to pick up pieces with limited availability. Another merch announcement, the Alien Friend Marketplace has been restocked. This is one we were looking at this morning. I didn't realize they had this cool little marketplace here with different gear, toys, etc. We talked a bit about how these kind of VRBO type stays are available, which are pretty interesting. I was commenting on this one. There's a spaceship house just like this, maybe an hour from me. I drive by it all the time. It was like an old like futuristic house model that was like built to be some sort of like entertainment hosting site. So interesting stuff here from Alien Friends. If you have been accumulating their coin, definitely take a look. The marketplace is now open.
I was impressed. Yeah, I really liked how they built it out. I know they've been kind of getting, ever since they had the Alien Friends Evolution drop that they did, and they were trying to raise money in an effective way, but didn't really, I don't think they did it too well. There's been a lot of a downtrend, and their floor has gone from like 1.2 ETH to like 0.35 now. So this was cool to see, like possibly a change in that narrative. Hopefully brings some positive light and allows them to build some momentum going forward.
Yeah, definitely cool. Definitely a nice way to reward holders. It looks like, there are a good amount of holders eligible to be purchasing.
Oh, wow.
These items. So there's no shortage of coin to go around for those top holders. So cool. Maybe you'll be seeing this from our newsfeed, and you'll say, "Hey, wait, I can access this utility here. I have enough. I have enough coins." Moving on a bit, though, Damien Hirst opened up his exhibit in London. They're showing the currency there before they burn the NFTs. I believe this is going to be held until October 30th. The 4,851 physical pieces are all there. Those are the ones that were held as NFTs, I believe. The 5,000 of, yes, and then the other 5,000 were redeemed as physical. So the ones that are being held as NFTs are being shown, and then they're going to be burned in some sort of kind of spectacle. We talked about this a few weeks back, maybe 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I'm be interested to look at the currency and see how it's actually doing in terms of price action, because anytime something gets attention like this, the eyeballs can really translate into sales.
Yeah.
So we're still hanging upper fours. I don't believe we've ran too much over the last few weeks. So a few sales a day. Would be interesting to watch this. I don't think I'm jumping in, but it's one I'm curious about, and maybe use as a data point for upcoming art. If there's an art gallery with a large amount of activity, display volume, you might be able to capitalize in NFT land there.
Yeah, I like that approach of just data. They kind of like looking at it like a case study. So you can, next time something like this happens, hey, what does it usually look like? And then I'm also curious to see, like, hey, what does the portrayal look like from a news point of view? How are they going to explain this burning that's going to happen? I think it can be a potential to onboard some people, and maybe some art collectors over there are like, damn, this burning thing's pretty cool. Let me check out the NFT and see what comes up there. So yeah, either way, I'm the same approach as you, Ray. Kind of wait and see, but studying and definitely watching and gathering data points for this event.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I'm picturing maybe like an art collector being there, like, oh, I love this currency here, like speaks to me, like number XYZ, and it's like, well, you can't get it, I'm gonna burn it, but you like, offer the guy who owns the NFT an offer on Opensea, maybe you can grab it.
Right.
Moving on to World of Women, Matoshi broke down a space that the World of Women team had with On Cyber. They talked a bit about kind of the future of your own personal galleries and residences. Yeah, we talked about this a bit the other day, that having kind of a home base in the metaverse is going to be very appealing to many people. A space that you own, you control access to, and you can call your own and kind of just take ownership of. So definitely cool that they've been working closely with On Cyber. They've had a few competitions, and then there is a deadline on claiming your gallery from your capacitor. The capacitors, as a reminder for World of Women holders, they got airdropped these capacitors. They're going to be used for different access. You can burn them right now to claim an On Cyber gallery. or you keep it and there may be some other utility coming forward that we just don't know yet. So that deadline for that claim is on the 30th. Matoshi will do a great job of keeping us updated. I'm sure she'll let us know. So that would be Friday. On Friday, reminding holders to make sure that they're claiming if they want that gallery. Big news out of the Art Blocks ecosystem yesterday. They announced that they were they're ending the curated series designation. So the way Art Blocks works, the curated seasons have come out in different series, 1 through 8. 8 being the most recent one. It's still ongoing. 8 will be the last one. Interesting to see. They're still going to be releasing curated collections, but they're just not going to have a series designation. We have additional links for information here. Snowfro goes through the thought process and what it could mean. I looked at Zenika's take on this too, and he had an interesting take as well. There are 60,451 pieces from Art Blocks curated seasons 1 to 8. You might think that's a lot. It is not a lot. And when you think about, this fine art, I mean, that's a limited number of this like original collection of Art Blocks curated. So 60K, over all these collections, if people want this or that from an individual collection, really not too much when you look at it at the grand scale. And especially if you're factoring in mass adoption, eventually these could be pieces that are highly sought after years in the future. So keep an eye on those pieces. I'm sure we'll see some action there. I haven't looked, like I said, I was pretty busy yesterday. This news and the factory dropped, I kind of missed at the time of, caught up on the news feed. But I definitely want to dive in a bit deeper, and I want to look at volume across some of the different Art Blocks projects and see like what's been moving. Have any of the low floor price curated season 1 to 8's been moving? Should I jump into some of those low price points, given that they're part of this grander collection now? They're grouped in with some of these big name, big price tag items. So definitely one to watch out for there on the AB curated side.
Yeah.
So more merch. Pixel Vault opened its purchase window for merch. We have links to the shop. I think it's just some all black Pixel Vault gear. Purchase available with their tokens, punks, and POW, I believe.
So you can only purchase. It seems like you can only purchase if you own their NFTs.
You need the token. So like I believe you have the POW or the punks token, and that's what the purchase is denominated in.
Got it. Yeah, look, I mean, the merch coming out is an interesting one. I'd like to see someone kind of break this down as far as because I think it's a great way to generate revenue. If you've built enough of a brand to where people outside of the collection are like, hey, I'd love to get in on this. And then you can provide value to the holders by having exclusive pieces or exclusive piece of clothing that they can get or at a discounted rate. But I think if you do it right, you can generate some revenue and bring value to your holders. But we'll see how this one plays out. I don't see anything necessarily special about it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that point of view, and kind of Jeff Staple and Stapleverse did that in reverse. He created a streetwear brand, and then he released an NFT to kind of complement that. So if you're holding Stapleverse assets, you get early access to some of his sales. You get like deeper discounts. So If you're into staple clothing, it makes a lot of sense to own the Staple NFT. Big news yesterday, Apple allowing apps selling NFTs onto the App Store. I couldn't find a source for this, like a direct source from Apple. It all originates to one article that's saying, like, talking with Apple and founders, they are allowing this now. There's a lot of talk about the 30% cut that Apple takes for all in-app purchases, and this would apply to all NFT sales on the platform. Interesting to see how that will work. People are complaining about the 30% fee, as that is very, very high compared to everything else. So when you factor in that fee and taxes, your profit margins have to be very high to come out of it in the green. But what this could do is put NFTs in the hands of everybody with an iPhone, which is a very large subset of people. So this is a good first step. I love to see this personally. Fine with them taking whatever cut they need, but if they're going to be, potentially onboarding that entry ramp for all these people into NFTs. And I think, there's a lot of people out there who are overwhelmed and just don't want to spend the time to be onboarded, understand all the troubles. But if it's all handled by Apple and Apple's saying, hey, you're okay, interact with our apps, everything here is safe, you're not going to get rugged, there's protections within these apps, then hey, like it becomes so low of a barrier of entry, it can definitely increase adoption. Things like this are what I'm looking for when I'm saying, hey, we need that new wave of people. We need that next inflow to really push Web3 to the next bear or bull market out of this bear market.
Yeah, this is big. And like people, if we need to stop, I think, looking at it from necessarily like a profit point of view, especially because we're so early. We don't like I look at it from more of like just onboarding and bringing more people in and monetizing later. And I think from a corporate point of view, whoever made the move to make this happen, you got to sell it to the big decision makers up there as well. So when you go, hey guys, let's make it 5%. Let's take 5% of the royalties or whatever it might be. They're gonna be like, no, this is not gonna make us any money. But when you make it 30%, it becomes appealing to the big guys up top. So I think that also is part of it.
Yeah, definitely. These entrenched companies, they would rather be part of the cut as opposed to missing out as well. So,
Right.
By not participating in the market, they run the risk of not generating any revenue. So it kind of works both sides of that coin. You could talk about this for a while, but I think I'm gonna move on for now. We have Bitfloor Ghost from Proof. He provided an update. Team announced the London location for their roadshow and the RSVP link. So that's available. That was the only one that wasn't available yet. You can find that link directly from our newsfeed to RSVP. I believe you get a +1 if you hold any Proof asset there. We have a partnership talking about onboarding Web2, Web3. Hi and MasterCard have teamed up. Hi is I was digging in here a bit earlier. Looks sort of like a Robinhood-esque trading platform. Buy, sell crypto. They're getting into like NFT wallets as well, I believe. And they're partnering with MasterCard to offer a debit card that will be able to transact in fiat, crypto, USDC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. All of those, and you can use one of your like chain verified NFTs for the logo on your actual card, which is interesting. I'm sure we'll see some of these popping up on the social timeline. Everyone's sharing their credit card number. Can't wait to see all the apes that get scammed with that one.
Well, I'm curious if for this, if you need to actually own the NFT, or if I can just use yours or Tom's Moonbird on mine because it's CCO.
That's a good point. I don't know if they have anything there about using CCO. I know they do talk about it being like chain verified, so you may be out of luck.
Okay. Could you imagine? I pull up, we meet up, we do a little WGI meetup, and I pull out my card, and it's got Tom's.
It's my golden bird card. Well, that'll be our company card. Don't worry, we'll get that. We'll get that from. We'll get them on that after the show today.
Oh man.
Moving on, though, more Web2 joining the Web3 space. Walmart partnering with Roblox, launching 2 new worlds in the Roblox platform. Interesting to see. I'm not sure like what exactly they're looking there. It says they're doing concerts, entertainment, fashions, games. Seems a little dystopian to me. Seems a bit like WALL-E. I don't know if you've ever seen WALL-E.
Yeah.
When all the ads you're seeing in AR and VR are all for that same company. I don't want Walmart coming in and taking over the metaverse with advertisements, pulling in our kids from a young age. But definitely cool to see them jumping into the space and recognizing its importance. I think it's going to speak a lot to how we manage the metaverse, whatever that ends up looking like. How is it decentralized? Who owns the key pieces? Walmart's a big player, and I would hate for one big player to take over a large portion of what ends up becoming the metaverse. Moving on a bit, we have the Bored and Dangerous book reader launching today. There's a space next week as well. We have a link to the source here to get more details on that release. So that covers it for the newsfeed news in terms of updates. We have been looking at some other news around the NFT world that may or may not be newsfeed worthy. You want to talk a bit about what Bobu's been up to?
Bobu's been on one, man. So we have our theories on what this could be, but Bobu's been kind of a shit posting the last 3 days. Like I've been kind of following what they've been doing on Twitter for the last month or so. And it's been like very broad, barely posting anything, and now posting like 8 or 9 times a day and just at a bunch of different people. So I don't know, Ray, your theory was that possibly the guy's just hammered and has been so that's causing it, but I don't know if there's anything significant, but just had to put it out there, and something that I noticed yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely like a jarring difference in tone from the rest of Azuki, seeing this play out. But it's interesting too, like with this Azuki specifically, how they've kind of characterized him. He's just like a always is drinking, kind of just like a little disheveled. I could see him being the kind of person who maybe like shit posting all day on Twitter. So they're kind of selling that. You see all these different gifs and memes he's sharing. So interesting to see. Definitely had a few laughs. Pretty cool to see that.
Well, whatever it might is, like, I think that what they might be doing is like adding just some fun to their community, and this Bobu being like, or this fractionalized ownership, adding, like, making it more appealing for people to want to join. When you look at the floor, I can't believe it reached a 0.08. That was a massive pump on that day that everyone was buying Azuki. You look at it from a fractional point of view, the floor sitting at a 0.05. I'm not sure how it turns out into like the actual Azuki floor price, because it is a kind of fractionalized. I know we were talking about that earlier, what the market cap of it would look like. But yeah, there's something to look out for. And if Azuki does pump again, this will obviously pump with it.
Yeah, speaking of fractionalized ownership, this was interesting and crossed my radar earlier this morning. There's a nouns fractionalization happening where I forget which noun number, but they're fractionalizing their noun into 100 of these nounlets, and they're auctioning off every 4 hours. It'll end in about 12 days, depending on how the bidding works out and how the settling works. They've been running, between 0.7. I think they started out around 1 ETH in terms of the winning bids. Something I'm keeping an eye on, a way to get into the nouns ecosystem at a cheaper price point. I think we'll see more of this going forward. I'm not sure how this eventually plays out. What is like the end benefit for owning this? You really can't own that original noun. You're basically, getting a piece of it. You have a vote in the bigger vote to like you're casting votes against 100 other people to decide how that one noun is going to vote in the proposal that's casting it against X other people. So you don't have a large impact on the overall ecosystem. It could be just a bet on nouns in general that they will continue to appreciate. But, at this point, you're looking at, I think, somewhere above the nouns floor price in terms of average price for what these are going for. I need to look at what nouns are at right now to take a better peek and kind of see how they've been selling over the past couple days, because floor price isn't always indicative of what they're actually moving at. Sometimes they'll sell to offer. So 82 floor on Opensea. We have seen, it's been a while since we've seen a non-OTC sale here. So sitting at 82 now. Probably right around what this average cost is or what it's approaching. So something to watch out for, something interesting in fractionalized ownership. I'll put that in the bank of a project to check later down the road to see, how successful this was.
The other project that caught my eye, Ray, that entered my buy zone after using WGMI's. Now that we have these indicators set up, I simply just plug in what I'm looking for and see what comes up. So what I'd like to see, just for context, is a decrease in floor price and a decrease in listing side by side. Usually it's a lag between, like, it'll do this for 4 to 7 days, but before it starts pumping again. So when you look at Pudgy Penguins, their floor price about 10 days ago was at 3.69. It's now sitting at 3.16. Their listings were at 625. Now they're at 480. So that's definitely great to see. The only other thing that's looking at is, okay, what do their sales look like every day? Sales aren't necessarily great, I will say. You want to see more towards like the 20 to 30 sales a day, but that's kind of an indicator of why the floor price went down. the other thing to look, I'll check sales here. You can see sales have been kind of dead recently, but 11 sales today so far. Definitely encouraging to see. Either way, I like at this price. I would, if I were to go in at this floor at 3.16, I'd put an offer and go, okay, let me see if I can get in sub 3 ETH, hold that for a week or so and see if I can make some profit off it. Definitely one to watch for. I'd keep an eye on that. The only other one that I wanted to break down would be Azuki. It seems like it's starting to stabilize a little bit. It's been in kind of free fall mode, right? We're sitting at it went sub 9 ETH overnight. And when you compare it to the listings, let's go just for September, you can see these listings starting to go down, right? And we're having that dynamic that we had with Pudgy Penguins where, hey, this floor is going from a top of 11 ETH, and the listings were at 676. Now they're starting to go into the low 600s. We're seeing this kind of period where it filters out some of the paper handlers, and then the community gets strengthened again, and we see that pump once again. So look, if I'm an Azuki guy, I'm looking at Beans personally, trying to get in at a 0.7, sub 0.7, and I'm comfortable holding that for a little while.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We talked about this a few times. We could see a period of a bit of a lull here over the next few weeks before VC news, before that final installation of Azuki World. Capitalize on the market not paying attention. They paid a lot of attention. We saw the run up. We saw what can happen when the market's there. If they, pair VC news with the final installation of the world, and that kind of gives a bit more clarity on Beans burning or, the secondary collection. I know our curator, Owen, talks a bit about Beans being the kennel club to the Azuki apes, and that mutant collection still isn't out yet. So news on that, how it relates to Beans, how it relates to Azuki and the VC funding should make a pretty big impact. And we could see that similar price action. So I'm watching, not buying in yet. I'll kind of monitor those numbers. Once we start to see what we can kind of call a bottom or think is a bottom, I'll be looking to jump in. And I think you're right. I think Beans is going to be the place to jump in.
Yeah, and look, once we buy it, guys, just know that we're definitely gonna be pumping our bags and shilling it. So try to get in before us, because once we do, it's gonna be nothing but pumping for us.
Yep, absolutely. Two other projects that caught our eye with movements over the last 7 days. Chimpers has been running. They released the dojo, I believe, yesterday. We're seeing that floor price run. I believe I have floor and listings here. We're seeing that spike. They have some staking involved, so they have a fairly low listing count. Only 100. When we hit our absolute bottom here, we were only 135 listed. That's gone up a bit as they've pumped. Not looking to buy into this pump. We'll see where it steadies off, and then maybe watch that going forward. And we also saw Exolians. You talked about them a bit earlier. I wanted to jump in, but you were on a roll. I was in a market update with Signal from the Nifty, and she was like pumping these, and I was like half listening. She's like, at the beginning of it, she's like, "Yeah, watch out for Exolians. They have a low supply. The CEO of Opensea bought in. There's some sort of airdrop coming up. They ran to 0.4 and they dropped all the way back down to 0.2. And then by the time she finished with her kind of update, they ran from 0.2 all the way up to 0.4 by the end of that. So if I was paying attention, listening, and looking at the details there, I would have definitely jumped in and taken a look at Exolians.
Yeah, look, their 1,000 piece collection. I will say, shout out to Signal. She has been on it for the last 2 weeks with some of her calls. So definitely one to keep an eye out for. We got to listen in next time, Ray. But look, the art is actually pretty cool, I will say. So yeah, they're at they've pumped 0.52 the last 24 hours. They're up to a 0.68 floor. They're moving. It's only 1,000 piece collection. So I look at it as a little bit of like a game of hot potato. After this airdrop comes along, if it does happen, it could be bad news. It could be the time to get out. But yeah, you look at these forward-facing PFPs. I think the art is cool, to be honest with you. Not enough to buy it into this pump. I think in about a month, I'll be able to buy it at 10% of the price. But I'm curious what your thoughts are here, Ray.
Yeah, just something I saw moving. I haven't dug into it very deep. I haven't researched the artist. I think it's just some from the base description. It's a tattoo artist who's gotten into the space. I don't know the connections. I need to, like I said, look in a bit more, but I think you're absolutely right. I don't think buying in here is the play. I think watching it, there definitely are swings for these collections. If it drops down to 0.2 again, I can see myself jumping in and trying to swing trade it on any potential news, but I'm not gonna touch it right now. But definitely interesting. Need to look into it a bit further. But yeah, I think the art is cool.
Yeah, I really like this. This is super interesting. But look, guys, we're near our time here, Ray. Do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up? One of the things I will say, guys, is we have a space with Mitoshi, our 10KTF curator, at 11 a.m. PST, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be diving into season 1 of 10KTF, what went down, how to pick it all apart, and then what might be coming going forward for holders. So you don't want to miss out on that. That's going to be on Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mitoshi is just one of our many ecosystem experts, curators, providing that deep dive into their ecosystems and distilling that information for holders on our newsfeed. If you like the tools you've seen here, if you like the newsfeed, the portfolio tools, the valuation, the data, you can mint our all access pass right now at wgmi.io. This gets you access to all WGMI features, just like I said, newsfeed, portfolio, data, analytics, access to our Discord. Our curators are in our Discord answering questions. Lots of alpha being dropped there as well. So if this seems like something you're interested in, definitely head over to our site and also send us a DM with the word newsfeed. We'll be picking one winner each day from those who send us that DM, and we'll provide a 7-day trial for you to use our tooling absolutely cost-free. So I think that's it from us, it from me. Do you have anything else to add, Clemente?
That's it, guys. We will see you tomorrow at the same time, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We will do the same thing every single day. Get you everything you need to know about the NFT market in 30 minutes or less. See you for episode 11